Hey everyone, it is Dave. Welcome in. It is now time for module number 8. We're past the halfway point of the class, and keep in mind, no matter how well or how poorly you did on the midterm exam, this second section of the course is filled with points and it is all new material. So prior to the midterm, we covered very traditional forms of art. Everything from the Renaissance all the way up to French art such as Rococo and Romanticism. Now we are covering modern art, and that is beginning with the invention of photography. And the very first modern artist we have is Edward Manet. So I'm going to lecture on both of those this week. For projects, we do have a discussion board. Make sure you've watched the photography lecture prior to completing the photography discussion board. We also have journal number 7. So join me. We're going to head over to the Canvas site. I'll walk you through module number 8. All right, here we are back on the Canvas site. Module 8 will begin our material that you will see on the final exam. Nothing from modules 1 through 7 reappears. Up top, like usual, we have the video you're watching, the introduction, and then my office hours every Monday and Wednesday, 4:30 to 7 p.m. Our first lecture is on photography, our study guide, and then I'll go through the further exploration material. Sally Mann's website, and Sally Mann is this woman here. To me, I think she's the greatest living photographer we have. So you have a little bit of a video that shows her studio and the kind of photographs she creates. Even though she is a contemporary photographer, she uses this wet plate collodion process, which hasn't really been done since the Civil War back in the 1860s, and it's really an amazing result of what she gets. We have a short reading on early photography and some of the people involved with that. It is essential to watch this video here on how daguerreotypes are made. Also, we have some information about camera obscuras on the upcoming final exam, which is only 7 weeks away. And this will help you understand what a camera obscura is, even though I do cover it in the lecture. Pictorialist photography, that's optional for you, as well as Beyond the Dark Veil, which is an exhibition that we had at Cal State Fullerton early on in my career there, and it's still talked about today. It deals with photographs of people who have passed away. And during the Victorian age, death was looked at a lot differently. And these are very much important photographs of people who have passed. So if you're interested, you may take a look at that. So our second lecture of the week is on Edward Manet and the birth of modernism. Edward Manet is known as the father of modern art. He is the first artist to really move away from the techniques and teachings of the academy, and he brings forth this new idea of how to create art. Unfortunately, like many artists, they are not appreciated in their life, and Manet does die very young. He dies at 51. But because of him, we have later on the Impressionists, and today we look back and consider his impact on art as being one of the most significant. So we have our lecture, our study guide, and then in the further exploration area, we do have some readings on Edward Manet's painting called Music in the Tuileries. We also have an article from Art Bulletin about Olympia's Maid, which is about this model here, Lori, and this is a great video on Olympia. The painting Luncheon on the Grass, which I talk about extensively during the lecture and definitely will appear on the final exam. And then Baudelaire's painting, The Painter of Modern Life. Baudelaire is a modernist writer. I do not expect you to read all the way through this, but definitely read some excerpts from it just to give you an idea of the changing ideas of life in the mid-1800s. After that, I'm going to jump down to the journal entry because that's going to be a little bit quicker to talk about. The journal, what I'm going to have you do is go out and shoot some photos. So from the image list down here, I'm going to have you choose 6 of these 11 choices, and I'm going to have you go out and photograph any of these categories. with your submissions, and they can either be 1 per page or 2 per page, but no more than that, you're going to want to include a photo, a caption, and then underneath it, just a few sentences. How the photo requirement is met, what the image is of, and where was it taken. So that's really about all you have to do for this project. That leaves us with the discussion board. The discussion board, first, you should actually watch the lecture on photography. So what I would like you to do is then share a photographer that was not shown in the lecture, but a photographer whose work you think is impactful, and more importantly, one that you share the same culture with. First part is due on October 27th. What you're going to do is you're going to post a picture of the photographer's work. You're going to write a paragraph, a short narrative about where you found out about this particular photographer, why you think their work is impactful, and also provide some background information as well. The second paragraph is going to be on culture and what culture they share with you. Now, keep in mind, culture is a really broad term. It's not just about race or religion. And in fact, if you only consider those as culture, you're not going to get the full points for that portion of the project. But think about hobbies and interests, and no matter what you are into, there are photographers focused in on that particular interest of yours. So always think about, if you're a car person, a sports person, a music person, all of those have dedicated photographers. Don't forget, by November the 3rd, you need to leave a reply to another post. For professional photographers, people that do this for a living, that have won professional awards, that have published their work in magazines and so on. So just not anyone you're related to. Image information on uploading an image. Remember not to choose controversial work for this project. This is not the forum for that. For grading, we have 5 points for your photographer, 5 points for tying in culture, 5 for the research you did for the first paragraph, and 5 points for your response to another group member. We have our example number 1 here, photo, paragraph number 1, paragraph number 2 about culture. Now, I will state, not only are you talking about the culture from that photographer, you're going to be talking about your culture as well. So a lot of us are invested in environmentalism, but just saying that you're interested in keeping the environment clean is not enough. For instance, this person has written down that he is at an environmental studies major. And that is what you want to do. You want to tie in your major, tie in your interests. If you're a car person, hey, maybe you go to car races. Maybe you work on cars on the weekend. You have to tie in your association with the culture as well. And also, this person, great, 2 paragraphs, great about tying in culture and the response. So that is the end of Module 7. Of course, I'm always available via email Monday through Friday and office hours Monday and Wednesday if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll be back shortly to tell you about Module number 9.